Self-defense plus false accusation. The cold wrapped around me. This was no mere cold. It was so painful that my body jarred. Humans begin to feel pain if they're exposed to elements for too long. Too used to this heating its sphere, my unprepared body shuddered as if suddenly pulled back into reality. Well, that much was to be expected, because I was standing in front of the cabin. I had been dropped right into the middle of a violent sandstorm. At this rate, I'll freeze to death. Was Satoru trying to kill me? Panicking, I opened the door and ran into the cabin. The situation here didn't seem to have changed. Before the transfer, Uni and I had been huddled together in the same bed, but now he was curled up in another bed. I quietly stared at my hand, which prickled with pain. My fingertips were numb and had turned stark white, having lost the coloring that blood would provide. I tried blowing on them. That had hardly any effect at all. My entire body felt heavy, I mean. I didn't have the energy to talk either. At this rate, I probably won't even make it through to the rest of the day. I covered my entire body with a blanket. However, even the blanket had already become cold. Fuyukawa-san, is it? Before I noticed, Yamagi was standing in front of me. From his facial expression, I knew that he too had weakened considerably. I quietly nodded. Can you give me some food? He whispered to me as he glanced towards the top bunk bed. Yes. How much? A handful of the hardtack. No, one piece is enough. Are you okay? Yamagi patted my head as he forced me a smile. To say it out loud, you just worry about me even more. The snow isn't stopping, is it? Yamagi looked out the window. The snow violently struck the pane. It had calmed down for just a bit earlier. I see, it's gotten bad again. I wonder if help is coming. Don't worry, let's believe and wait. Yes. Hearing this from Yamagi, who's knowledgeable about mountains, I felt somewhat encouraged. I was honestly thankful for Yamagi's presence. That's right, the rations, right? I reached deep into my bed, reaching my hand under the pillow. However... Huh? Gone. What's wrong? It's not here. The can with 3 people's shares of the rations was gone. I'm sure I left it underneath the pillow. That can't be. Why? Panicking, I looked around the area. Found it in the corner of the bed where it had rolled into the dark area on the far side of the bed. Grasped the can. What are you sneaking around for? I jumped. Mizumi peeked out at us from the top bunk. Her face was without spirit, her voice had gone hoarse. Mizumi may be the one who's exhausted the most strength out of us. However, her bloodshot eyes alone still had the energy to glare fiercely at us. What's that? Mizumi pointed her finger at the can I was holding. You weren't hiding food from me. Oh no, Mizumi has the wrong idea. You're wrong. This is the 3 of ours combined. This food is mine, Uni's, and Yamagi-san's. It's all 3 of ours combined. I wonder about that. You sure you weren't just hiding it between the 3 of you and leaving me out? That's not... Stop it, Mizumi. Stop doubting other people. Mizumi grew sulky and withdrew back to the far side of the bed. She made it over the energy to left to quarrel with us. Mizumi's weakening at a remarkable rate. I grew a little worried. Hey, Mizumi-san. Why do you always reject us? Let's all cooperate together. I don't want to die, and I don't want anyone else to die either. No response came from the top bunk. I sighed and looked over at Yamagi. He only gave a small shake of his head. Food, right? I'll go get it now. When I grabbed the tin can, it felt impossibly light. Huh? I doubted my eyes. The can... Oh, it was empty. This can't be. Why? There was still plenty of hardtack inside. I'd seen it just before when I ate with Uni. Why? Did someone steal an eel? Hey, who was it? I cried out loudly enough for the whole cabin to hear. Uni and Yamagi kept silent. They just quietly looked at me. What were those eyes for? I heard Mizumi laughing from her on the bed. Stood up and walked over. What's so funny? Mizumi only encountered my challenging tone with a faint smile. Hey you, don't you know who the culprit is? Judging from her tone, Mizumi probably knows who did it. I'm gonna regret this. So it was you. Huh? It was you, wasn't it? I could think of anyone else that would do this besides Meizumi. Couldn't forgive her. Meizumi's self-centered attitude had crossed the line. If the rest of us don't survive, it'll be her fault. Meizumi's facial expression changed into one of anger. What are those eyes for? You're the worst. Couldn't endure it any longer. The complaints that I've been holding back suddenly burst out all at once. Why can't you think of anyone but yourself? You think that it's alright to kick down others just to save yourself. As a human, you're the worst. What did you say? Leaning forward, Meizumi slapped me. I shook it off and returned to slap my own. The sound of it echoed through the cabin. You bitch! Meizumi's hand grabbed onto my hair. The pain brought tears to my eyes. Even then, I didn't falter. I wildly swung my arms and hit Meizumi. Hey, stop it already. Yumogi stepped between us and forcibly pushed Meizumi and I apart. I continued glaring at Meizumi while breathing wildly. Don't you think anything of it? Watching people as they suffer, don't you think anything of it? You're just pushing the blame for your own sin into someone else, aren't you? Huh? What did Meizumi just say? Blaming someone else for my own sin? Meizumi glared at me with eyes of contempt. I dare you act all innocent, you're quite the hypocrite. What an unbelievable woman. What are you saying? It's you! It's obvious that you're the culprit. I'm the culprit? I can't be. Only you could have done it. The only person that could eat it unseen is you. The person who was holding it, right? I didn't eat it. Believe me. But Yamagi and Uni didn't protect me. They only looked at me with cold, distrustful eyes. No, don't look at me with those eyes. I lowered my head as if to escape their stares. No one believed me. They're trying to pin a crime on me the body doesn't even remember committing, even though I've been enduring this hunger all this time. It was at that moment that I suddenly realized, right now I'm not hungry. I don't feel hunger. The hardtack I ate at noon wasn't enough to sate my hunger. I was so hungry I felt like my stomach was sticking to my back. But now, astonished, I rubbed my own stomach. Looked at Uni as if begging him to help. Uni only looked down. Uni, you believe me, right? Because we were with each other until just now. That's right, Uni. That's right, Uni. Did you see anything? Uni nodded awkwardly. Who was it? And then Uni momentarily glanced in my direction. That one look said everything. Meizumi snorted through her nose in triumph. The inside of my mind went completely white. Why was he lying like this? As I stared there, he looked around the bed as I used as if investigating, and grabbed tightly onto the blanket. There are crumbs. He said shortly, his tone strained. A lot of hardtack crumbs have fallen onto your bed. A nerve-wracking, shrill laugh echoed into the cabin. Hey, you know what? You're a way worse woman than I am. I fell on my knees where I stood. This has to be a lie. It's not a lie. You were the one he was lying to us all this time. Pretending to be Satoru, too. You were planning all this from the beginning, weren't you? Don't tell me that you were going to blame it on Satoru next. Suddenly realized. That's right, it was Satoru. It's impossible for me to have eaten the food in a period which I wasn't even aware. If you think about it, the only way to explain it is that Satoru ate it on his way during a transfer. Although I don't want to believe that he's really that selfish of a man. Again with the DID stuff? Give me a break already. Yumogi glanced at me and clucked his tongue. He ruffled his own hair. Obvious discomfort showed on his face. Yumogi-san. I can sympathize with your illness, but don't pull us into it. That's wrong. What's wrong about it? Yumogi shouted forcibly. Without permission, you ate unis and my portions as well. That's the reality. We've moved one step closer to death. I looked at Uni. He just stood there biting his lip. He averted his eyes from me. Could it be that your kind of personality, along with your DID, was all an act to get us to let our guard down? While you were returning, there was something wrong when you took our food. Tears began to overflow from our eyes. The already weakened bonds between us were beginning to break apart, making a shattering sound as they did. Sorry, it just slipped out. Forget about it. No longer bothering to look at me, Yomogi sat in the corner of the cabin and wrapped himself in the blanket. Mayuzumi only continued to laugh to herself. Uni wouldn't come near me. He sat on his bed, painfully rubbing at his stomach. Uni, I'm sorry. I apologized in tears, but Uni gave no reply. He pulled a blanket over his head. I was suddenly overcome with an extraordinary sense of loneliness. I'm not alone, I have comrades that help me. That's what I thought. So the hellish shelter cabin without food or fuel. There was only one hope that I could cling to. That I had comrades here with me. That alone was what supported me. But even so, before I noticed, there was no one left beside me. Everyone blamed me. I looked at the hard tack crumbs scattered across my bed. Messy as if a child had eaten them. Was it Satoru that ate it? Why? He should have known what the food meant to us. For him to eat it all, why did he do something like that? The tears wouldn't stop. It looks like I've unconsciously come to resent Satoru. It was because of him that my faint hope of survival had disappeared. Why? Why did you do it, Satoru? I broke down crying on the bed. Time passed, and before long night arrived. In the corner of the cabin, Yomogi was trying to communicate with the satellite phone again. However, the results had been no good as always. Guess the phone's useless. Yomogi muttered. Everyone felt the same. The night continued on. The darkness of the night deepened quietly, and little by little invited us towards death. There we go. Cruel harmony. Oh boy, this is gonna be a little off. Okay, so that went a little weird. I transferred again. I checked the time. 10:20 p.m. A delicious smell was coming from beyond the door. Lured by the smell, I left the room. On the table right in front of my eyes was a warm meal. The shining white rice was letting off steam and looked delicious. Right next to me was a bowl of eggplant miso soup, grilled salmon, a vegetable side dish of spinach. There was a larger platter full of diced chicken and vegetables. I became unbearably sad. There was food here. There was just enough food to satisfy the hunger of 3 people. I wanted to bring Yamagi and everyone else here as well. If I could, we wouldn't have to quarrel over food anymore. If I could, the sin I had unknowingly committed, as well as the trust in me that had been lost as a result, would all be cancelled out by the food right in front of our eyes. If I could, everyone would forgive me with a smile. What's wrong? Eh? You suddenly started crying. From where she sat across from me, Tsumi raised her eyebrows and peered into my face. Uni and Hattori were sitting at the both end of the dining hall table. She was right, there were tears running down my cheeks. The two of them stared at me in surprise as I had unexpectedly started crying. Are you really upset that we didn't call you for dinner? No, that's not it. I just had something on my mind. Huh? That turn? Fuyukawa-san? Yes. I see. In that case, I'm sorry. We started eating without you. It's alright. The amount of food here would be just enough to satisfy the hunger of all the people in the shelter cabin. If they had only something to eat, then the foul and edgy atmosphere would calm just a bit. I felt that the personality exchange was an extremely cruel thing. Even though I didn't want to admit it, I was only fooled because I had eaten 3 people's shares of hard tack back at the shelter cabin, leaving the others starved. However, it seems that Satoru was angry. Right now, it feels like I'm starving. I don't eat. I put down my chopsticks. I don't actually remember it, but I had eaten Yuni and Yamagi's food all by myself. I felt it was unforgivable for me to accept such delicious food. Thinking of those two, I'll abstain from eating as well. But... it seems you're hungry. Satoru was laughing voicelessly as well. It seems Satoru was considerably hungry. I'm sorry. As I apologized with soft voice, I was hesitating as to whether it would be okay for me to refuse the food. As far as my own feelings went, I wanted to keep my honor with those in the shelter cabin by abstaining from eating. However, if I did that, Satoru would be the one to suffer. Of course, because it was probably Satoru that ate all the hardtack, I'd like to tell him a thing or two, but in it here it'd probably be a problem if Satoru didn't have the energy to run away from the murderous monster. I picked up the chopsticks with mixed feelings. I'll eat it. While eating, I looked at the other three around the table. Something felt off. Why is it that the four of us gather around a table eating right now? There was a murder here just the other day. Moreover, the culprit is among these three people. It's not the time to be calmly eating here, but even so, why? Did they decide that it'd be easy for everyone to eat all together? To prevent any one of us from being poisoned, everyone should be seen eating the same thing? That's when I remembered. That's right, Satoru was poisoned. Last time I transferred, his body was in terrible condition. I looked up at the ceiling. I checked to see whether my vision was blurry or if I'd been dizzy. However, everything was perfectly normal. My body didn't feel dull at all either. Did Satoru deal with it somehow? Then Utsumi spoke in a voice that betrayed worry. I thought you were really wolfing it down, but now your chopsticks aren't moving. Is something the matter? Are you feeling unwell? No, I'm fine. Panicking, I shook my head. I see. No one has been eating well lately, so we haven't got enough nutrition. Besides, Fuyukawa-san hasn't eaten anything for the past 3 days. That's true. Just eat what you can, okay? Now that you mentioned that, Satoru and I had been refusing food for fear that I was poisoned. Would it be okay for me to eat now? Actually, I've already eaten some. It was too late. Sorry, Satoru. If you die from this, please forgive me. Please, please don't let there be any poison in it. Satoru took some of the diced chicken and vegetables from the larger platter and put it in Uni's bowl. Thank you, Hattori. Ah, Uni. Uni grabbed it with chopsticks, playing without showing any hesitation. What? Swallowing down a piece of bamboo shoot, Uni glanced up at me and startled. No, it's nothing. Hattori served herself from the same platter, then brought the food to her mouth. There wasn't any sign that it was poisoned. Gathering my resolve, I decided to continue with the meal. The food that Utsumi had made was delicious. The atmosphere at the table was peaceful and happy as well. Uni ate a lot and talked a lot as well. Utsumi too answered with him with a laugh. Hattori was sitting beside Uni, nodding at their conversation with a smile. It was at the meal we had on the first day. It was almost like the murder that had taken place was just a lie. A bad dream of a world far away. However, there was something different from the meal on the first day as well. Hey Uni, please pass the soy sauce. When I casually called out to him, Uni flinched and his body trembled with surprise. He stared at me with eyes full of fear. Why fear? I'm actually curious, did Satoru kill the man? Because that would explain... Because Uni did say how, don't blame Hattori, she didn't kill him. And I'm wondering, did he actually see Satoru kill the guy? Why are you looking at me like that? Here you go. Here you go? As if to interrupt my question, Utsumi passed me the soy sauce instead. Sorry. Yumi was oddly afraid of me, Satoru. That was the biggest difference. And there was one more difference. Tori lightly tapped Uni on the shoulder. What's wrong, Tori? Tori pointed her finger at her own cheek. Is there something about you? Is there something about your own cheek? Tori shook her head as if troubled and then reached over to Uni's cheek. There was a grain of rice stuck there. Tori puts it into her mouth. Where are you going with your lunch in your face? Or something like that. And Tori smiled happily. Jeez, we're like newlyweds, huh? Uni smiled while leaning against her arm as if teasing her. Tori, as if reacting to the word newlyweds, looked down as her cheeks returned red. You don't need to get so embarrassed, Tori. Tori and Uni were both getting along unusually well. I thought as I brought one of the vegetable side dishes, dripping with soy sauce to my mouth. Uni's forehead should be wounded. It wasn't visible right now because his bangs were hiding it, but it was a new wound, and it had unmistakably been inflicted by none other than Hattori. So then, why wasn't Uni on his guard against Hattori? Why is it that rather than being scared off, I'm scared of her, he seemed to be getting along with her as well? The meal ended, leaving behind the huge question. Thanks for the food. I put my hands together and mentally apologized while doing so. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being the only one to eat. All the people at the shelter cabin were enduring their hunger right now. Being able to fulfill myself spiritually by eating like this was more than enough to fill my feelings of guilt. Mother and child. After the meal ended, I was the only one sitting at the dining table. Uni went along into the living room as if avoiding me. He sat on the sofa, playing with Hiyori. I gazed at the two of them from the kitchen, while feeling a strong sense of alienation. Kagome, the bird within the cage. When will you come out? In the evening lit by the dawn. The crane and the turtle slipped and fell. Who's that behind you? Uni's hands were covering Hitori's eyes. The two of them were singing Kagome by themselves. Hitori was crossing her arms and nodding as if pondering it. After a while, Hitori took the notepad in her hand and wrote Unicorn. Bingo! The correct answer was Kasuda Unicorn. Letting out a voice full of joy, Uni lifted his hands away. Hitori was grinning and laughing as well. If you just saw what they were doing in innocent play, it would have looked like a very enjoyable scene. However, Uni and Hitori were the only ones there. Just what was fun about that? If you think about their play, it was kind of creepy. Kagome song. It was the song Uni had sung to himself many times in the past. On the plane, on the shelter cabin, and in Sphere. It was the year 2011 in the shelter cabin, and the year 2012 in Sphere. That's what I concluded. Was Uni like us after all, and that only his consciousness was transferring? No, before that, there's something even more important than I have to think about. The same question from before crosses my mind. Why wasn't Uni afraid of Hitori? Uni had unmistakably gotten his forehead cut by Hitori. That was the truth, even if she hadn't done it intentionally. Normally, you'd be cautious of a person who did that and try to avoid them. But looking at the two of them, rather than trying to avoid her, you get the impression that they were getting along even better than before. So why? When I snapped out of my reverie, I saw that Uni was now sitting beside Itsumi. Cuddling myself close to Itsumi, Uni began talking to her, like the way a spoiled child behaves with his mother. Oh, it was just like you said, Carly. It's much more relaxing when we eat together. It was really delicious. I'm glad to hear that. The two sat on the sofa saying that. What were they talking about, I wonder? It may have been about the same thing I felt during the meal, about the chance of poisoning decreasing when we eat together rather than apart. Uni was sticking even closer to Itsumi than necessary. Even so, Itsumi pats him gently, while narrowing her kind eyes with an affectionate expression. The two looked as if they were truly mother and child. Carly, I'm scared. Uni muttered as he pressed his forehead against Itsumi's arm. It looked as if he was trembling. I might be the next one to be killed. I don't want that. I don't want to die. Uni. As if to soothe his trembling, Itsumi braces Uni. After brushing her lips against his hair, Itsumi nestles his face into her arms. It's okay. No matter what happens, I'll definitely protect you. Carly. Uni wrapped his arms around Itsumi's back as well and returns her hug. They embraced each other for a while, but Uni soon is separated from her. Worry still showed onto his face. I'd be happy if you could protect me. But what if I'm attacked while Carly is in here? What do I do then? I'm scared. Itsumi looks at Uni with sad eyes, and then... That's right. She reached into her pocket. She took out something wrapped in paper with red lettering. Inside the wrapping is a charm. I'll give this to you. A charm? Yes. Oh. You see the charm has a wish inside to protect you from injury. Wearing this expression like the Virgin Mary, Itsumi handed the charm over to Uni. Uni placed it into his hand and stared at it with a mysterious look. I began to doubt in my eyes. A charm? In the shelter cabin, through her shivering, Uni and I prayed to that charm. Why? What's going on? Itsumi speaks gently to Uni. I'm sure the charm will protect you. Is it okay for me to take this? Of course, you hold on to it. I want you to carry it with you before it's too late. Uni wore a puzzled expression at first, but eventually gave a small nod. Like something precious, he held the charm to his chest. Thank you, Carly. Itsumi hugged Uni tightly one more time. And then she headed to the kitchen to do the dishes. Uni started heading back to his room. I wanted to talk to him. As I approached him, Uni suddenly jumped and froze where he stood as a frightened expression appeared on his face. He wouldn't look me in the eyes. He gripped the charm in his hand. What does this mean? I didn't really understand what Uni was thinking. Uni was hurt by Hattori. He had his forehead cut with a knife. Even so, he wasn't afraid of her at all. However, while Uni was speaking to Itsumi, it sounded as if he was afraid of someone. Could it be that Satoru did something to Uni without me knowing? And because of that, Uni was afraid? I didn't have the energy to think about it anymore. Try my best to talk to him. Uni, can I have a moment? What? Uni held the charm to his heart as if turning a holy cross towards a vampire. Don't be afraid, I'm not going to do anything. It will only complicate things if you act so scared. Uni bit his lip and glared at me. Hey Uni, aren't you afraid of Hattori-chan? Why? Because that wound on your forehead is from Hattori-chan cutting you, right? I thought you might have died and I was really worried. When I saw Uni fall down with blood spraying from his forehead for a moment, I thought he was dead. The thought of Uni dying, even remembering that scene, makes me start to shiver all over. Hey, aren't you afraid of Hattori-chan? Uni stared at his toes for a moment before finally raised his head with a resolute look in his face. I'm not afraid, we're getting along better than before. Why did you start getting along? Once in a while, Hattori acts kind of strange, and there are times when she makes a scary face. But she wouldn't ever kill someone. Wouldn't kill someone? Hattori is thankfully rare murderous monster. Is a thankfully rare murderous monster the one who slaughtered 12 people in Ibushi Kaiko? Uni probably doesn't know about that. If Uni gets too close to Hattori without knowing that, he might be in danger. Confused over what to do, I tried to tell him indirectly. Think about it carefully, Hattori-chan was standing in the same room as a dead man, holding a knife. Hattori-chan's personality may be gentle, but there might be a dangerous part of her, you know? Uni starts to violently shake his head at my words. It isn't true, Hattori didn't kill the man. How can you be so sure about that? Because I saw it. What? Uni lowers his voice. I saw the man get killed. You see the culprit? Still grasping the charm, he squeezed it even more tightly. Who was it that killed the man? Tell me. As I drew closer, Uni shrank from me. His face was warped in fear. What's wrong? I won't understand if you just go silent. Tell me. Uni stood frozen. Fear and sorrow mingled in his face. Hey, what's wrong? After a long silence, from one small hand, his extended index finger pointed straight at me. I thought so. Eh? In a tone as if declaring a death sentence, Uni said it. You killed him. Yeah, I figured that. I figured Satoru did that.